everyone, and welcome back to Kandid Koffee. We took a little break, but we are back on track for season 3. Today I have Andy Kenareki, who is a writer, actor, and comedian. Thank you so much for coming to my home, and I'm excited to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I think we're doing this on the hottest day of the year, but
feels
you
like
know, we're gonna do it. We're gonna make it.
We're gonna get it done. The last episode we had was Eternal Armenia, which was a little bit different. We were out right by the Americana, and it was more of a charity event. And today it's more intimate, one-on-one. I've been following your career for a couple of years. You've had some things that are very lighthearted and fun, and you mix Armenian culture into your comedy and make it silly and funny, but you also talk about a lot of things that are a lot heavier and hard to swallow, especially for our community. And I think it's important that you do that because they get to know you and love you for the lighthearted stuff, and then maybe they'll be more receptive to things that are difficult for them to listen to.
Yeah.
Politically, emotionally, relationships.
Yeah, definitely.
Sexual orientations, all kinds of things that you have talked about, and much more.
Yeah, I think comedy can sometimes break the ice, and it's a little bit like, you know, whenever you're in a room with people you don't know and it's kind of tense, and somebody like says a joke and then everybody laughs, and and then you can get to like the actual business.
Right.
That's like kind of what I try to do.
Right.
You know, I wasn't expecting to do that, but that's kind of the road it kind of went down.
The direction it went into. How long have you been doing comedy for?
It's almost 10 years, which is kind of crazy to think about. Yeah, my first video was 9 years ago. And that was a total fluke and an accident. I wasn't like expecting to be doing this and to be wearing a wig and talking about what I'm talking about. It just kind of was like a happy accident. And and I stopped for a while, and then it kind of came back during the pandemic because I thought I needed to do something. I know a lot of other people just needed something because we were all home on our phones, and instead of just being scared and depressed, you know, you want to do something to
lighten the mood,
try to make people laugh and make them a little happier. Yeah.
Absolutely. Tell me about a couple of the projects that you've been working on as of recently. I mean, maybe in 2019 and then now, and then where you're headed professionally.
Yeah, well, I brought Cutie Pie, the character that I've been doing for a while. I brought her back last year. I had kind of stopped for a couple of years. I think I had stopped doing it for almost 5 years, which is a lot. And I had kind of thought that was done. I wasn't really like inspired by it or interested anymore. And then with the pandemic, I brought it back as like a graduation video because people were having their graduations and not really having them because they were at home. It was virtual, and that's really depressing if you can't have your high school or college graduation. So I wanted to kind of do something with Cutie Pie, and then it got so much reception, and I was like, oh, people are still into this character? Yeah. I thought like it was done. I was oh, people don't know.
Oh, he came back.
Yeah, that was like a huge shock. I was like, oh, people still care about this character and like what I have to say. I thought it was like over with, you know, when you stop for a while, especially nowadays with social media. If you're not doing it every 5 seconds, it seems like you kind of die off.
But things like that eventually become nostalgic and comforting, and I know it's like really silly and cute, but like people were like, oh, I miss that character.
Yeah, apparently. So I brought it back. Currently I'm working on merchandise. I released a merchandise line, which was another thing that I never expected to do because I was like, I don't even know what is merchandise. Like, I don't even know how to do any of that stuff, you know. So I've been doing that. I have a Hookah Girl shirt out now with proceeds going to the LA LGBT Center that I'm doing for the summer. And then just continue to write stuff, and more videos will be coming, and I'm hoping, knock on wood, that I can do like a live show in the not too distant future. That's kind of my goal, is to do a live show, because I haven't done...
For yourself?
Yeah, with Cutie Pie involved, because I haven't done that live. It's only just been internet, and that would be like a nice challenge. They can do like a Q&A. Yeah, just some kind of live show. I don't know if it will be like a play or a stand-up routine or something. I'm not really sure. I'm just kind of brainstorming, and we'll figure out something. But I think that would be cool to see that happen live, because nobody wants to watch anything and where people want to go out. You know?
Yes, absolutely. I would love to see you do maybe some stand-up or maybe improv on a stage. I think seeing you in person is very different than on the internet and Instagram, because when I met you, I was like, oh wow, you're so tall, and it's a different vibe when it's in person. And I actually love a lot of like theatrical theater and improv and getting together with a bunch of friends and putting on a show like that. It doesn't have to be stand-up.
Oh yeah, totally. And I started in theater like as a kid. I've been doing theater since I was like 8 or 9 years old. So that's actually where I started, and that's kind of my first love. And then the internet just kind of came again as an accident. So I think kind of getting back to that would be really fun to do.
It would be, definitely. I encourage it. And you know, I think it's really resonating with a lot of Armenians, and I know they used to do like Armenian comedy nights and stuff like that, but that hasn't happened in a really long time. Stand-up's been dead for a really long time. So if we could revive that, I think it'd be really great. It was a few years back. I had seen your video, the initial Ani Cutie Pie. Ani Cutie Pie, her name's Ani too. And I was like, oh my God, this is so like, it made me cringe. But it makes you cringe because it's kind of true to how we talk, and you know, our culture and the things we say and where we go. So how did the idea of Ani Cutie Pie, you know, come out?
Yeah, total crazy accident. Around that time, there was a lot of YouTube videos, and this was like the early days of YouTube before it became this like big giant monster that it is now. It was still the early days, and a lot of people were making these videos that was like things girls say, and it was like things Mexican girls say, things whatever girls say. Like I even saw like things Macy's customers say. Like they just had videos for everything, and there was no Armenian one. So a friend of mine was like, "Oh, you should make an Armenian one." Yeah. And I just kind of shrugged it off, like, "Oh yeah, sure, whatever." Like, okay. And then I was driving to my other friend's house up in the hills in Glendale, like near Glendale College, which is like this. So that was a perfect time for me to be thinking of things and writing them down. Sounds very smart. I had all these ideas pop in my head in these lines, and probably about 80% of the video was just things I kept repeating in my head. I don't know where it came from. It just was some kind of weird, I don't even know where it came from, God, whatever it was, inspiration. And so once I got to my friend's house, I was like, I need a pen and paper, because I just kept repeating it so I didn't forget it. And I wrote everything down, called my other friend, and we filmed it that weekend, edited it the next day and put it up on YouTube. I didn't know how YouTube worked. I had no idea how it worked, which is why my YouTube channel is Andy K Comedy, which is so like such a doofed name for like a YouTube channel. Like, it's like, I was like, I wish I would have thought of something a little more interesting, but I literally had no idea anything about YouTube, and we just uploaded it, and the views just started racking up, and it just started going like crazy. And that night I had people like on the street where we're like, hey, what's up? Like, and had already watched it and recognized me. It was crazy. It was really crazy.
No, listen, I don't look like Kim Kardashian, okay? Yeah, and then my dad, he's gonna get me a nose job because like I've always wanted one. Kim Kardashian, she's such a slut. She doesn't even know Armenian, okay? I have to get this waxed. So I told my dad like I want a 2012 Benz. Do you know what he got me? Just guess what he got me. He got me a 2011 Beamer. She doesn't even know like anything about Armenians. She doesn't even know where Hot Wings Cafe is, okay? Like I don't look like her. Like you drive a taxi cab and you can't afford a Mercedes Benz for your daughter. Like I had to put on extra perfume today because my mom made a Vormezabzi and like I couldn't resist it. But like I smelled like really bad. Oh my god, look at that girl's Louis Vuitton. Oh my god, look at that girl's Burberry. Oh my god, look at that girl's Gucci. Oh my god, look at that girl's ass. So disgusting. Ugh. I might not find someone like you. I think I like dress sexy, but like in a classy way, you know. Oh my god, look at that girl's nose job. It's so bad. Anasha! Hey, like relax, okay? Relax, okay? Everybody says that, okay? First off, like Kim Kardashian, like I eat kebab every day and like pull it off every day. My ass doesn't look like that. Like, do you see what my grandma got me for Christmas? She got me this. It's a Kate Spade bag, but like, she's so funny. She went to downtown and tried to pay for it with food stamps. I'm like sickest grandma, right? Sickest, but no, she just bought it with welfare.
I love that. I love that something just came out of thin air, just out of nowhere, and then you guys got it done, boom, boom, and there it is. It's one of those videos where that you hear about and you think, oh, that happens to other people. It won't happen to me.
Yeah, I had no idea. It just kind of took over, and then I did a second one, did a music video, did a couple other videos with that character. I didn't even, for the first 2 videos, I didn't even have a name for her. I just threw an Ani because that's like the
generic,
you know, Stacy of whatever Armenian names, it's, you know, Anne, whatever it is. So I just threw that in, and then it eventually evolved into like her nickname is Cutie Pie, which I got from middle school. There was a group of girls. I hope they've heard this, maybe they haven't, but there was a group of girls when I was in middle school, because I was in like the stupid kid math class, because I was terrible at math. So we were all like, we were in like the stupid kid math class. And they would always call themselves like a dessert. So they'd be like, oh my God, I love Chris, she's my caramel. Oh, I love Ani, she's my ice cream. Oh, I love Arten, he's my whipped cream. And I was like, what the hell are they talking? Like, what are these girls talking about? So that's where I just got Cutie Pie. Just
Mazotian.
from that, yeah. And then Mazotian, which we all know what's up with that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how it kind of came about.
Yeah. I love that. I want Ani to be in like a really serious video with like, and I know this is gonna be like maybe a little pushing buttons, but I want her in like a video with Harush, just taking it really serious. Like it'll be a cameo of Ani, but like, you know, like trying to be really sexy. And then like other Armenian rappers can be in the video.
I have wanted Cutie Pie to be in, if anybody's watching who's a singer or a rapper, I've wanted her to be like a video girl in an Armenian like music video.
That's what I want.
That's what I wanted.
Go to Armin down the street on Glen Oaks, tell him you want to be in his video in drag.
Yeah. It's like it's barely dragged, but they'll probably have better clothes for me to wear than I have, which I'm excited about.
There you go. Yeah, and I just want you to take that role really seriously in that video. Just
yeah. But that's what makes it funny.
That's what makes it funny. Exactly. I sometimes I watch those videos that they do, and I'm like, is this a parody? They're like, no, they're serious. I was like,
you're like, I love it. It's great.
No, but like I gotta give them props. Like they really took it seriously, and they did the
as long as you're like committed to
it. Yes.
That's what
like
really
own
matters.
it. Yeah. Own it. You know. I like that.
Well, from your lips to God's ears, hopefully that happens.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna see Armin, and I'm gonna put in a good word because I really want that to happen. I think that'd be really fun.
And then you'll have to be in the video too, though.
I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to.
If we did like a pin-up World War II one or something.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere, like in World War II, there's Armenian rappers for some reason.
They'll put themselves anywhere. But maybe we can, I mean, Super Sako does everything, so.
Oh yeah. His videos are like, that's like, if that was during TRL days, that would have been like the #1 video.
Right?
Yeah, that would have been #1 on TRL.
I think so
100%.
too. I mean, I kind of have a love-hate with relationship with him, and I can't help but sing to his songs, but you're just like, oh, what are you doing? With the cornrows and all that stuff. It's interesting. One of the reasons why I reached out to you, I wanted to have someone that I can talk to that I kind of knew through Instagram, because I feel the kind of person that you are, and how you can explain things to me and to anyone who may be ignorant to certain topics that we want to learn more about. But can we talk about a little bit how it's been for you? I mean, you're an adult, you're in your 30s. I won't say exactly how much, but how old, but you have a very good understanding of who you are, what you want, your career, your family, your friends, just you as an individual. How has it been for you just in the Armenian community here in Glendale, in the Valley, just being you and not having to apologize for it and just...
You mean being openly gay?
Right.
Yeah. We'll just say it.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
say the
thank you
word.
for ripping that off, the Band-Aid off of that one.
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's funny because while you were saying that, I like got nervous out of nowhere, and I was like, "Why am I so nervous?" Because I was
nervous for you.
I know. Is that
Yeah.
like I'm not nervous, but I got nervous. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's been interesting because like for me and my family, like it's never been an issue at all, even with extended family and friends, and I'm really blessed in that way. But it's been interesting to see other reactions.
Yeah.
Usually, I think the most interesting ones have been people who follow you or, you know, like what you do, and the minute they find out, they're like pieced out. You know what I mean? That has been really interesting, which it hasn't been like, I mean, I don't know the number of people it's been, but it's been like a decent number of people.
That they like your comedy and your work.
And then the minute they find out my personal life and that I'm openly gay and, you know, whatever, it's 2021, who cares? And suddenly that's like a huge deal.
Right.
So, yeah, that's been really interesting. And that's why I think I'm so vocal, because it's not so much for me, because again, like I've gone through enough and I have my family and my friends and I'm comfortable with who I am, but I know like a lot of people don't have that.
Yes.
And I know the pain that you go through as growing up with homophobia and bullying, and I know that pain, and I don't want people, and I didn't even get it as bad as other people, like nowhere near as bad as other people, but I know what that pain is, and I don't want that for
right, because even if you have a fraction of that pain, even a little bit, you imagine what if it was more, and then you see other people that are maybe going through that, and then you're
and just other people, you know, not even just in Los Angeles or in America, but you know, I've heard like horror stories in Armenia, like horror stories, and you know, that's really hard to hear. So I always feel like I need to kind of say something, because that needs to not be acceptable.
Right. Recently, I read a list of very intelligent and talented Armenians, as old as, you know, in their 80s, as young as in their 20s. It was a list of Armenians who we know for sure are gay. Either they came out much later, or, you know, we were wondering, and then they're like, yeah, it's true, you know. And then one of them that I think everyone could know and relate to is Michael Adam, who's the designer of, you know, all these tchotchkes and stuff that we have around our house. Yeah. And Armenians love to buy that, like, just so much of it. Yeah. And it's in every household, and it shouldn't matter what he does in his personal life, because you obviously love him as an artist, as a designer, and you buy his merchandise. And then, you know, some people are like, oh, well, I'm not going to buy it anymore because, you know, he's gay. Which I think is kind of ridiculous. You shouldn't buy something maybe because, you know, it's made in Turkey and you're supporting terrorists.
Right, or someone's like a racist or has like killed people or done something, you know.
Yeah, something, you know, far more awful than what you think being a gay designer is, which I mean, like, hello.
I mean, yeah, that's like, are you shocked?
Right?
We're just going stereotypical. It's like, really?
Yeah.
You guys shocked? Yeah.
So I just wanted people just to understand that, you know, you can still, you should buy something because you like it, or watch a movie because you like it, or buy a piece of clothing because you like it, or whatever it may be. And if it's associated with that, it should not make you not want to buy it, but it should open your eyes and say, oh, wow, I really like this. This person made it and they happen to be gay.
Yeah.
And I should be okay with that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's another thing that has been really interesting to see, especially the last year with the war and everything, has been, I know a number of LGBTQ Armenians who around the world who raised so much money and raised so much awareness for with what was going on in Artsakh and the war, and you know, a lot of people like took their money and you know, were thankful, and then once they found out
Where it came from.
like that they were queer, it was just like, oh well, we'll take the money, but like you guys are dirty, which I think is so disgusting and so wrong, because it's like, if you know, we're already like if you want to say an endangered species as a group of people.
Yes.
You need to, if that's what we are, you have to love and accept everybody, you know, and especially when you have that community who is doing so much to raise money and raise awareness, and to be thankful for what they're doing, but then to shun them when they've done nothing wrong. They're just being who they are.
And trying to be help from a sincere place.
Yeah, and but that's what drives people away, you know, and then you wonder why they like move away or why they don't want to go to certain events, and it's like, well, people want to go somewhere where they feel accepted and somewhere where they feel okay, and you know, and
I agree, and I just I hope that the purpose of me doing this interview, among many other reasons, but the most important reason is what I mentioned to you on the phone, is if this can help. I'm not saying we're all gonna be like instantly okay with this.
Oh, no,
it's gonna take a lot of time, but my goal is to at the very least, if people cannot be beaten, at least, or hurt, or you know, publicly just shamed in front of a crowd, if there happens to be a gay man or a gay woman walking down the street.
Sure.
If they could stop doing that, at least, I would be like, okay, wow, at least we can help people prevent them from being beaten in public.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah.
And I swear people are going to be watching, they're like, really? Like, and it's that bad.
Maybe not so much in America.
No, in Armenia.
But in Armenia, there's, I know we had talked about it, there's I think he's 18 or 19, he's a college student in Armenia, and we were able to raise money for him to come. My friend Hagop kind of spearheaded it. We were able to raise money for him to come to the US, to LA for about 2 years to go to college. So which was amazing that so many people put their money together to sponsor him to come here. But he was beaten very badly, and the police did not care. He got medical treatment, but like nobody cared. His family didn't care, like nothing. And that's the reality for a lot of people there, and that's why they feel so scared
to live there.
To just, you know, and that's why, but then you know, that's why people leave. You know, you don't want to live in a place where you're scared to literally walk down the street. That's not living. That's not living. So.
Among many other reasons why people leave, that from when I hear things like that, it breaks my heart even more, because I'm not saying you have to go over and hug them and say, I love you, I accept you, but just at least don't hurt them. You know, is what it just kills me that keeps happening.
Right.
I mean, it happens to women all the time with domestic violence cases.
It happens so much there. Yeah, I have a friend who's living there right now, and she literally saw across from her apartment a man beating the crap out of his wife. And she called the police, and they were like, oh, well, what do you want us to do? It's just a completely different
It's
world.
hard for us to understand something like that here.
Completely.
Yeah.
It's very, it's demoralizing to hear things like that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Well, I'm happy that he's here. I hope that maybe along with other groups of people, gay, straight, doesn't matter, we can maybe sponsor a few other kids. Kids also, college students, to come here if they are going through something like that, so that maybe whether they stay or maybe go to a different state or maybe even move to Europe somewhere, at least they can escape from that for a while, have an education, and then figure their life out. And we can, I hope more and more people are helped in that situation.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the main issue here is, it's not so much like the people, I've definitely had comments where people are like just blatantly like hating, but the bigger issue here that I would want to say is the number of people who like smile in your face and then say something when you're out of the room. That happens way more. Or the number of people who see like, and it's not just me, there's friends of mine who have gotten actual death threats through social media.
Yeah.
And
I've seen that.
People will excuse the person saying that because like, oh, well, he's done, he raised a lot of money for Armenia or he did this. And it's like, you're excusing somebody making actual death threats and saying racist or homophobic or horrible things about women, about anybody.
Just because
they raised money or because they've posted some really nice thing. Like that's not an excuse. So that is, to me, I'm not saying it's as bad as beating somebody up, it's not, but don't take this the wrong ways. At least that person is being upfront about who they are and where they stand. I'm not defending them, but I have a huge problem with the people who smile in your face and act like everything's fine. When you're out the door, it's another story.
How do you handle people who are messaging you, who have messaged you in the past? I hope that it doesn't happen as often now, but when they did, I can't even imagine how that must feel because I've never had somebody do that to me.
Honestly, I don't respond to like 99.9% of it because most of the time it is a private profile that has like 0 followers. So to me, it's like, if you're not even putting your face to it, why am I going to respond to that? Because I put my face on everything that I do. You put your face on everything you do. So why am I going to respond to basically a nameless, faceless profile? That could just be anybody. And for me to respond to that is almost validating their feelings no matter what I say, and I'm not going to do that. So I usually ignore most of it. I don't ignore the people who put their face and name to it, because that is an actual person who we know who they are. And it's important that people
call them out too.
And it's important that people know who they are and what they're saying, because that's harassment and that's hate, and that's their freedom of speech if you want to call it that, but it's also mine to say, hey, look at what you said publicly. I just post what people are saying publicly.
You show that they've said something like that on your social media.
That's only if they put their face or name to it. If it's just a random profile, why am I even gonna like respond to that? Because that could just be anybody. And they just want attention, which is it's more. I almost feel more like sorry for them that somebody is taking time out of their day to do that. Like there's so many things you could be doing and so many opportunities in the world we live in, and that's what you're choosing to do. I think that's just really sad.
It is really sad.
It
is really sad. And I'm kind of, not to be spiteful and not to be hateful on the other end, but sometimes you do have to call them out on things that they're doing and publicize it, so that at least others will know that I don't tolerate this kind of speech. And it's not you being catty or a bitch or bitter or anything like that. It just means I'm calling you out on what you're saying. People will make it a point to say something about how they look, how they dress, how vulgar they may or may not be, and commenting on plastic surgery and all kinds. I mean, people feel so privileged to do that, and it blows my mind.
It's interesting because I think the internet, and it's the last year it got worse because everybody was at home. And just on their phones. And everybody was like so depressed and angry and just sad that it just went into overdrive. And that's why, like, with my therapist, I was like, I think I have to take a step back from like responding to every comment, because this is not like, I think it's important to acknowledge like social media is not the real world. Like if you get out and actually talk to people, most people are great. Most people are great. Most people are completely fine and normal and don't have a mean bone in their body, but for some reason, and it's also, we tend to hear the loudest voices. Even if it's 2 or 3 accounts, that's what we focus on. And most people are not screaming in person or on the phone, so.
Southwest Airlines. Love me and respect me. Worship me, Botox. But don't try to fix me, okay? 'Cause I have an AA degree. I've been a lot of places, judge a lot of faces. Sometimes I order hookah by the cases. My best friend, her name is Kim. She has me read her coffee again and again. Melania wants me as her date for the prom. She buy me Mercedes, a Porsche and a farm. I say no, BMW please. Cutie pie need a man who is good on his knees. This one guy, he spoke Italian, but he not buy me nose job. I say goodbye to him. My friend's ex kinda called me on a Tuesday. Said he'd be my friend, I could be first lady. Cutie pie loyal, I say no way West. If you don't listen, I taser him in chest. For 100%, you are my King Kong. I make you some nazook and I give to this dom. How many licks does it take till you get to the center of 100%? How many licks does it take till you get to the center of you, honey? How many trips to the mall will you take me? Oh shit, oh yeah. How many licks does it take till you get to the center of 100%? You buy me nose job, hookah, hookah. You buy me boob job, Gucci, Gucci. I don't want no job, Botox. You better respect me, Southwest Air, cause I'm a fine lady. Love me, worship me, a natural beauty, and an AA degree. And listen, if you try to fix me, I'm gonna tease you again and then call my grandma to hit you over the head with a broom, okay? Bye.
So I have a question, and again, this is not a live taping. I'm genuinely curious, and I'm not being condescending about this, but when we see that, you know, people from a young age say, oh, I feel like I'm in the wrong body, I want to have a sex change, I want to, this is not my true self, okay, you know, you let them get it to an age where they could make a sound decision about that, okay. They go forward with it. They feel like they made the right decision. Okay, let's put that one aside. Recently, I saw this woman go through some sort of plastic surgery on her face. She was a white woman, but she identified as Korean. And
Okay. Okay.
and I'm just like, you know, you're kind of taking away from the seriousness of this issue because you're making yourself to be very ridiculous and essentially a joke.
Right.
Because you think that you're Korean, but you're not.
Yeah. I mean, I think
And
that's...
I feel so bad because, I feel bad about the whole thing, but I just feel like, how are people supposed to process this and take you that woman seriously when she thinks, or that other woman that thought she was black?
Rachel Dolezal, yeah.
Or yeah, she had like freckles and
Yeah.
she like, I think, made her skin darker somehow. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't expect
think,
you to have the answer for
No,
me.
I guess, yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I guess if I had to say something, I would say it's kind of like what I just said. We often give attention to the people who are the loudest in the room, and that happens to be one or two people who are like, look at me, look right here, and so the attention goes on to them. But I guess the thing we have to be careful of is just equating that with actual trans people, right? Because it's two completely different things.
Right.
But of course, that's going to get so much attention and
But it's
media
taking away from some people that really do in fact feel that way, and they went through certain procedures and they feel that they made the right decision,
Right,
and
yeah.
they're living their true self from then on out.
Yeah.
And then you're just like seeing this other stuff and you're like, well, these are conversations I think that need to be had, and I don't know how other people would like approach this topic, but I just wanted to like shed some light on just acceptance of some things, and you don't have to necessarily jump for joy about it, and it's going to take you a while to process. Older generations, or even
Sure.
maybe some younger ones, even between millennial and our parents' generation, but just be a little bit more kind and receptive, and just accepting.
Yeah, and I think being willing to talk to people from different, like when you actually sit down and talk to people from different backgrounds, like I'll give you an example. We have a family friend of ours, she's very Catholic, and she was very uncomfortable with the idea of like trans people, and I actually knew one from my group therapy. I knew I knew a trans woman in my group therapy that I had become friends with, and I told her, I was like, "Have you ever sat down and talked to a trans person?" And she said no. I was like, "Would you go get coffee with my friend?"
Yeah. Who's trans?
I was like, just have a conversation with her, and you'll probably have a lot more in common than you think. They went and had coffee. They're not like friends, but she was like, "Oh, she's such a nice person," and my friend thought she was a nice person too. I was like, "Yeah, just sit down and talk to people," because I think people have way more in common than they would like to acknowledge.
Right.
I think we often just like want to yell and scream because of just, again, social media and the world we're in. But most, again, like I said, most people in the real world are pretty fine.
Yes.
And we have much more in common than what separates us.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I tried to just keep an open mind about a lot of things, and just it's not even necessarily about, oh, I have to accept, but I'm ignorant about something. I want to learn about it. I want to know what's going on with X, Y, and Z, because it just expands your knowledge of that category, and you become more understanding, period. And just with it can be with anything. My girlfriend is a LCSW, licensed clinical social worker, and maybe before she would have been a lot more judgmental towards people who have substance abuse issues, and whether they're abusing pharmaceuticals or alcohol or whatever it may be, other drugs. But because she's in that line of work, and because I've talked to her so many times, and because we did a segment on Kandid Koffee, a lot of people came forward and said, "Oh, you know, I always wanted to know more about that, and I know so-and-so does that, and I don't know how to approach that person about it, and, you know, Almota, and it's so bad, and now I know a little bit more, and at least I can talk to somebody." She can always reach out to Deanna and say, "What should I do?"
Right, exactly.
And even if you are a parent and you're watching this and you are going through some things with your child that you are really confused about and you don't know how to handle it, or you love your kids and you just want to say the right thing or do the right thing but you don't know how, you know, maybe this can help. Or also, you know, if I can do some research and put like a hotline number or a counseling center that can help with that, because the whole purpose of Kandid Koffee is, of course, to shed light on issues and on amazing Armenians, such as yourself, but also to, you know, incorporate what we talk about and help someone along the way. Because it's still very much an issue for parents to deal with all of this.
Yeah, but I think it's just important. Like, I think one of the issues we have in so many communities, but obviously we're talking about our community, is that people just don't want to talk about certain things, whether that's like addiction or homosexuality or dating outside your community. It's just like when you don't talk about things, you allow it to fester and it starts to rot, and that just makes things even worse and more painful. And so we need to feel more comfortable to talk about things and to be open about them. And
they just dismiss it and push it away, and then it just kind of goes away on its own because it drives a wedge between family members, and then that person who is in a relationship with someone not from the same nationality, which I've been through, or has a same-sex partner, or made other decisions in life that their parents don't accept. Maybe they didn't go to college and their parents wanted them to, and they're like, well, I'm just going to drop out and this is what I'm going to do. That's not what I wanted you to do. Okay, well, tough shit. I'm going to go this way. But instead of it causing a huge drift between family members, you know, talking about things like this, and also going to a person that can help you process it and talk about it is really important as well.
Yeah.
Do you know of any organizations that are helpful in the Armenian community for that? I think Equality, something you
Equality Armenia does, they do a lot of great work. They're mainly fighting for LGBTQ rights in Armenia because it's the worst in Europe. It's actually even worse than Russia, unfortunately. Gallus is also a really great group. And I know that they have like seminars or like social hours for parents and children or like teenagers with psychologists to actually talk about that. And then also, it's not an Armenian organization, but the LA LGBTQ Center is amazing, and they're who I'm doing my fundraiser for.
Okay.
They do so much. That's a great resource. They have therapy. They have so many things there, so many resources. So those are, we're fortunate to be in an area where we have a lot of resources.
Yeah, absolutely. And then lastly, it doesn't, and this will be aired everywhere, so it doesn't necessarily have to be in LA. But I just wanted to kind of suggest through you, if someone feels that they cannot come out and they're already in their 20s, or I mean any age. I think after your teens you're pretty sure about what's going on in that department. So and if you don't know how and you're scared to come out, because I know of some people much older that are still very scared to say it out loud. What should they do about that? Or who can they talk to about that?
They can talk to me. My DMs are, open. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist or anything. But I guess the overall message I would say is just know that you are loved and nothing is wrong with you. And whatever you're going through now that is hard, just know that nothing is permanent. Everything is temporary. Happiness is temporary. Sad times are temporary. And you will get through it, and it does get better. Just to keep your chin up and know that there are people out there who love you and will have your back no matter what. Just to know that.
Hi guys, it's me, Kandid Koffee. So you guys, I was gonna do an Armenian Christmas video, as you can see, but I have to just address some rumors that have been going around on the internet and online and in people's living rooms while they're drinking coffee that have really been destroying my family and bringing a lot of pain to us, okay? There have been rumors going around, I'm sure you've heard, that the reason Kim Kardashian and Kanye West are divorcing is because of me. Because me, Ani Cutie-Pie Mazotian of Glendale, was having an affair with Kanye West. And I just want to say that is absolutely ridiculous. There is no truth to that whatsoever. There's not even a kernel of truth. It is fake news. Okay? You guys know me. I've always been honest. I am a clean, makur, high-ach chick. I would never do something like that. I've been engaged to the same man for 10 years. I'm only a 22-year-old girl. Do you really think I'm capable of something like that? I was raised with morals and values, okay? So please stop spreading those rumors. It's bringing pain to my family. My mom is crying. My dad is crying. Todd is crying. Anisha is drinking water out of the toilet again because she's so upset. The ghost of my grandpa is crying. It's really, really messed up, you guys. So please stop spreading those rumors and leave me alone and leave my family alone and just let us have our privacy for this moment, okay?
So Andy, thank you for taking the time to come and talk to me and to our viewers. I appreciate you leaving the door open for people who may need some advice from you. That's really nice of you. And I hope that you continue to make people laugh and your career can advance further and further. And I want to see you on stage sometime soon. I'll come and support the show.
That'd be great.
And I love having very diverse type of people. There's no niche audience when it comes to Kandid Koffee. It's just Armenians who are trying to make this place, while we're on this earth, a little bit easier to share the space with.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Thank you everyone for watching. Please follow Andy on Instagram. His information will be on here, and everything that we mentioned will also be included in this episode. Thank you.